Hello everyone, this is Marshall Official. This is another update on the Russo-Ukrainian war. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's get straight into it. I just want to say this one thing. For the geolocations that I'm going to have in this video, instead of putting them, I'll talk about them, instead of talking about the front and then going to the geolocation, I'm going to instead insert the geolocation just into the video while I'm talking about the front. So it'll be off to the side while I'm talking about the front. You guys can watch me and of course watch the geolocation at the same time. It'll be a, big time saver, and also I think it'll be a lot more interesting for you guys to watch that instead of watching me cut from one thing to the other. So obviously, I just want to say subscribe. Obviously, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a like, share with your friends, and let's get right on into it. So starting off with our first advancement on the front line, this is confirmed by Syriac maps. We have this Russian advancement north of Robotny. We've seen recently how Russian forces were advancing here, not heavily, not majorly. But they are advancing, and they are trying to slowly move their way up towards this intersection right here. And at this point, the Russian forces have basically completely just undone all of the Ukrainian offensives. All the Ukrainian gains that they made. If we remember, the Ukrainians used to have something like this. They used to be somewhere around like here, like down to here, and then it came up like that. This is what Ukraine managed to gain. Now we can see here that it has been completely reversed, and the Russian forces are now pushing from Robotny, and they've already captured it, and they are now pushing out of Robotny and moving northward here and also here, like that. So that's this front completed. We'll move on to the next front now. I don't want to waste your time, guys. I'm trying to make these videos shorter and more fun, if you will. Okay, so here. Russian forces have managed to advance north of Storomayorsky and Yerezhny, and they have begun to enter the village of Makarivka, and we do the geolocation, so I'm going to insert that in the video now. And then right here, the Russian forces have advanced northward from here, and they've also advanced along this road, most likely is how they did it. But they've also advanced a little bit to the east of the river here as well, just pointing it out there. And then in the grand scheme of things, we back it out. The Russian forces are possibly, I'm going to say this, the Russian forces are probably trying to advance from Pokrovsk and Storomayorsky and Yerezhny at the same time to reach Veliki Nevs'ke from both sides. They're going to advance along this road in this river, advance this way to take Veliki Nevs'ke possibly into an encirclement like this, or just storm it directly. But this is what Russia is aiming to do right now. So that's this front covered. I'm not going to show the whole geolocation. You don't need to, but it just shows why I'm saying this. But then again, that's this front covered. We do another advancement right here. The Russian forces are continuing their advance to try and encircle Volodar. They're moving from tree line to tree line, and they are moving along whatever this is. These patches of fairly rough looking ground, but they're moving along these tree lines again, continuing to try and get behind Volodar this way and this way. They continue trying to do that and take Volodar into an encirclement. And he's trying to say they're trying to take it and have it look something probably like this. And then the Russian forces will, of course, try to storm it at the same time. Like that. Boom, boom, boom. So Volodar is slowly being encircled, and it's not looking good for the Ukrainians in Volodar. They better get out now, is all I'm going to say about this front. In my opinion, I think they probably should get out right now. But so far, they're not. Alright, anyways, let's move on to the next front line now. And, okay, so we do have important advancements west of Krasnoyarsk. I should say even west of Hustry. Also, apparently, the Ukraine forces at some point counterattacked and did retake the part of Hustry, but then the Russian forces retook it, so no changes. Basically, they took it back, then Russia retook it again. But anyways, in the prison, the Russian forces have completely captured the prison, and losing the prison, the Ukrainian forces have begun to retreat towards Makarivka and along this tree line here, because they don't have anywhere else to go. They lost their base, so they have to pull back to the tree lines, basically. That's what they're doing. And the Russian forces have been able to take the rest of it, so it's a small advance, but it is a very important one. We do have another geolocation from this front in Hernik. No advancements from this area, but we have a video showing, and this always happens, we have a video showing how Russian forces were heavily bombing Herning with what appears to be FPV drones and lots of artillery. And we know once we start seeing FPV drones hitting something, we know shortly after that Russia's going to move in to take it over. They always do that. Russia will move in to take the city of Herning after they're done FPV droning it like crazy. And the picture's on screen right now, as you can probably see. But on the Pokrovsk front, we do have some very important advancements. So here on the front line, we have Russian forces have advanced in 2 places. West of Novorodivka, they've captured this Terracon right here. And they're trying, for the most part, it looks like, to advance not directly on Pokrovsk, but westward. They're aiming, apparently, it looks like, to take over this railway. And I mentioned the same railway down here, because Russian forces were advancing here as well. And they have managed to capture part of this tree line, this road, that it could lead them 2 ways, south of Silodove, and then down on this railway. Once Russian forces take this railway, they'll probably use it to, again, snake their way. I showed this in my last video. They're gonna take the railway and then snake their way down here to cut off these Ukrainian forces in Hernik and Kharkivka and all these other areas over here. So that's what they're doing, and they're trying at the same time to, from the same area, reach here and move this way to cut off and take Selidove. So they're probably advancing like this to encircle Selidove, but the Russian forces are also at the same time pushing westward to try and reach this reach this area, cut the Ukrainians off, encircle them here, and then they're probably going to try and advance northward along this railway here, taking it over, and then from here they'll reach this area and move this way, and then turn right along this railway towards Pokrovsk. And they're going to eventually hit Pokrovsk along this railway here as well. They'll move along this road into Mirnograd to move into Mirnograd, and from there move behind Pokrovsk. And there's also another railway. So Russian forces will move this way towards this railway, and then hit Pokrovsk from this direction as well. This is what I'm going to guess is Russia's battle plan. By the way, there's also another one right here. Just pointing it out. There's another railway right there. So this is Russia's battle plan and what they're trying to do. To take Pokrovsk and encircle it. Starting with, they got to take Selidove first. Selidove must fall before the Russian forces can move on to Pokrovsk. And the Russian forces must take, if they want to move on to Kurakove, this area must fall first. And the easy way to do that is take this railway. So anyways, let's move on now to, okay, we have 2 more fronts to look at, and this is the major news. This is the big stuff. Alright, you can already see it. We have major advancements from Toretsk, and for the first time, I have been proven wrong, I admit this. Russian forces were confirmed to advance inside the city of Toretsk, and they have taken a huge more than half. They have taken, and I said they weren't going to do this, the high-rise, the city center, these high-rise buildings. They took about half of them in one attack. I said the Russian forces were going to advance this way, moving like this, to get around these guys, to avoid fighting them, and then move this way, taking the Terracons here, and move this way. They did not do that. Instead, the Russian forces advanced this way, straight through them. They just barreled straight through them. And they took half of them. Half of them is under Russian control. Only half remains under Ukrainian control right here. And after that, there's not much left for the Ukraine to really defend inside of Toretsk. There's a few things. There's of course, the stadium right here. That's a good place to defend. And then there's the Terracons right here. And then there's this, I think it's a railway or some kind of, I think that's what that is. I think it's supposed to be like a quarry, like a railway quarry, something like that. But this area, these 2 Terracons, and this, if this falls, 1, they'll be cut in half. 2, there won't be much left to defend. If the stadium falls as well, then all of this will be open for Russia's taking. So this is major. We look it out. Yeah, there's really not much left. There's nothing that really stands out as a good, truly defensible place. There's mostly just smaller residential areas after that. After this falls, Toretsk will be counting days. We will be counting days for the fall of Toretsk once this area falls. And when the Terracons fall, start counting minutes or hours. before Toretsk falls. Once the Terracons fall and this falls and the stadium falls, that's when you can start counting the hours. At that point, Toretsk will be on its last legs at that point. But this advance is as shocking as it is, and I admit I was proven wrong. They did not do what I thought they were going to do. They pushed right through it. But the bigger news, and we do have geolocations, so it's true. Russian forces have completely broken through north of New York. They've advanced. I have to see how far this is. They have advanced from here 1.8 miles in one day. They have advanced 1.8 miles in one day. So the Russian forces have what they did was they advanced along this road and along this tree lines and along the river. So road, tree lines, river, and they just pushed all the way. They just did not. And it was an armored assault. This was not infantry. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Russian forces are mostly relying on infantry attacks. No, here this was an armored assault, and for the first time, we are now seeing strong Russian armored assaults for I would say the first time of this war, really. The reason why Russia switched to using these smaller groups of infantry, like these stormtrooper tactics, is because armored assaults was not really working for Russia. They just weren't going. But this time, they used an armored assault, and it was a major success. I don't know what I'm going to title this video, because we have another major event that happened up north, and I'll have to get to that soon. But this has to go in the title, because this is major. And the geolocation is on screen right now, so you guys are watching it. But armored assault, straight up along this road, all the way in, and they're now into Leonidivka. Leonidivka is what they're now fighting over right now. And we can see there are cauldrons starting to form on this front. There is a cauldron. So the Russian forces are advancing here. They are advancing here. And they've advanced major here. Well, we can see that if these areas get cut off, then what's going to happen here is the Ukrainians are going to end up encircled in two main places right here. They're going to end up encircled here and here. If they don't pull out, then they'll be in big trouble, because the Russian forces are advancing heavily, and it's not looking good for the Ukrainians. They either have to somehow stop this advancement or break out or pull out. Pull out now, or that'll be it. That'll be it for them, because Russian forces are going to break through. They already have broken through, and they're going to start attacking. What the heck? Start attacking these Ukrainian forces here like crazy, and it's already falling apart. Like I literally put my last video, Toretsk is crumbling. Well, Toretsk has crumbled. They have taken the high-rise buildings and they have broken through northern New York. The Toretsk front has crumbled. That there's no denying it anymore. That this is really falling to pieces for the Ukrainians now. That's kind of hard to look at, but that's okay. But we have to go on, but we have one more front to go to now. Let's go to that now. Alright, guys. This is a better example. I kind of fixed it up a little bit for you guys, just so this makes more sense for you guys to look at. So there you go. But anyways, that's it. That's a much better diorama. Let's go to our final front. I do say final front just because we have nothing else. Nothing from up here. Nothing from up here. And surprisingly, nothing from up here. So let's go to the last front where we had some changes. And also nothing from Seversk and Chasiv Yar. Nothing from Chasiv Yar either. So let's go to our final front, which is Nevs'ke, and we have big changes. It's not a huge chunk of ground. It's only 1.63 square miles, but it's big. Russian forces have managed to advance from here, so that's another 1.8 miles they've advanced, and this is which is not as surprising. But this is not a urban area, so that's why this is also why this is less shocking of an advance, because it's not an urban area like Toretsk and New York are. But Nevs'ke, this front has not changed basically at all in so long. Like, it's in minor changes. Now we got some big changes. Is what this comes down to. Russian forces have made major gains now on this front for the very first time. You look at Makivka. Look how broken up these advancements are. This is a small little town, And it took Russia so long to capture it, like months, years, to capture this village. But now, well, Russian forces have captured most of Nevs'ke. They captured all the southern part, but the northern part is now in a gray zone because the Ukraine forces have withdrawn all of their forces across the river. They have withdrawn all their forces. By the way, there's a geolocation playing on the video right now. The Ukraine forces have totally abandoned all their positions to the east of this river. It's now in a gray zone. So Russian forces are going to probably move in and take. I'm not going to use that. Russian forces are probably going to move in and capture all of this. All this will fall into Russian hands. So give it time, but this is all going to go red. Right here. All of this. And from there, what comes next? Just like I said in my last video, look at this. This road is now fully exposed. Russia's going to take this and go this way. And clearly, what they're going to do next, after that, is they're going to move this way. They're going to attack down this way, along this road. And what you're going to see is all this territory will fall into Russian hands soon. And from here, well, what comes next? Well, the most obvious thing, take Toretsk and advance on Liman. That's the most obvious thing to do at that point. The fact that this area has finally fallen has now opened up a bunch of opportunities for the Russians that they just did not have before. Now they have those opportunities. They can go this way, this way, this way, this way. It looks ridiculous, but the point here is that the fact that Russia has finally been able to do this, reach the Volta River in that area, forced Ukraine to retreat back over the river, giving up this territory right here. They now have so many more options to do so much more, to do whatever they want, basically. So this area is as good as in Russian hands. So the Ukrainians are falling back to the river here. They're probably going to fall back to the river down here as well, especially if Russia cuts this bridge right here, this land bridge right here. They'll have to rely on this bridge down here and down here. So the Ukrainians will have to fall back. Something like, let's actually zoom in out a little bit. Ukrainians will probably have to fall back to something like this. You know, something like that. And then Russia, at the same time, will advance down here. They've advanced here. Now they're going to go this way. This way. They're going to go straight down, while also putting pressure from the main front. At the same time, they're not just going to sit here and do nothing. Put pressure from this way, like that. And from there, after that's done, break out. They'll just simply break out east or west over this river. Aiming for, again, probably Liman. So this is the situation of this front at this point. And it's, you know, it's deteriorating rapidly, let me put it that way. After so long of this front just being like, I kind of said almost as a joke, like, hey, Russia, maybe Russia will take Nevs'ke in my last video. Now they have. Like, I did not see this coming at all. But anyway, guys, that is your frontline update. Let's go to the political updates now. Alright guys, political updates. First one, the moment of the attack of the Russian ammunition warehouse in Krasnodar territory, there was a big explosion. Russian forces, there was in Krasnodar, on the Krasnodar, there was a big explosion of a warehouse probably. According to Zelensky, I'm thinking this is not surprising at all, but according to Zelensky, the 80,000 losses of the Ukrainian military, which the WSJ wrote about the other day, is a lie. So Zelensky is saying the Ukrainian army has not suffered 80,000 casualties. Listen, I'm sorry, but they've suffered hundreds of thousands of casualties. Probably 250,000 at the very least. If not, at the very most, 500 to 600,000. It's definitely not that high, but it's no less than 250,000. It is not, he's saying it's not even, so Zelensky's right. It's not 800,000, it's 250,000. At least. Just like Russia. No, so Zelensky obviously is trying to say that Ukraine has suffered very few casualties. Complete lie. They've suffered probably that many casualties in just the last few months alone. 80,000. At night, the Ukrainian military destroyed 5 out of 5 guided air missiles and 11 out of 16 attack UAVs. That's according to the Ukrainians. According to them, that's what the situation is. During the night, air defense forces destroyed and intercepted 101 aircraft-type UAVs. That's according to Russia now. So Russia is saying that over the last night, they shot down that many drones. So that's how many drones they shot down according to each side, basically. It is reported that the new package of military aid from the U.S. will include joint standoff weapon glider bombs for Ukraine F-16s. So they want to give basically. I believe these are medium ranged glider bombs. They're medium range ones, so it will boost the range of Ukraine F-16s. Basically, if it's true, they are going to give them that. The U.S. and Great Britain are conducting secret negotiations on the approval of the use of West weapons for strikes deep in Russia, according to the Times. If it's secret, why are we hearing about it? Like that seems a little bit not true in my opinion. Secret negotiations. Well, why does the whole world now know about? Because you just told everybody. So, doesn't seem very true to me. Just saying. Zelensky said, "We are actively preparing for negotiations in America. We are counting on meetings with both candidates for the presidency of the United States." Yeah, Donald Trump did say a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, that he was going to possibly meet with Zelensky when he came to America. Definitely going to meet with Biden. He's definitely going to meet with Kamala Harris. He will probably meet with Donald Trump as well. Just putting that out there. Zelensky probably will meet with Donald Trump. Australia considers supplying decommissioned American M1A1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine. So some more Abrams tanks will be given to Ukraine by Australia. These are older ones. Schultz said that Germany will not supply Ukraine with missiles capable of reaching Moscow. That's pretty significant. That's pretty major. I saw this on the Telegram like yesterday. I didn't put it on there because I just didn't think about it. I kind of forgot to. But that's pretty big. Schultz said that Germany will not supply Ukraine with missiles capable of reaching Moscow. So going back to the Toretsk missiles, Germany's got those very good Taurus missiles, but they're not going to give them to Ukraine. Schultz is saying that, nope, not going to happen. Again, the whole reason why Schultz was doing this, well, the whole reason why he was all for Ukraine, now he's backing off, is because there's an election coming up next year. And I mentioned it briefly in a previous video, that he's probably going to lose this election. Germany's right-wing and middle-right parties, and even their far-right parties, are surging like crazy in Germany. In Thüringen and Sachsen, I think it was Thüringen, the AfD party, which is Germany's far-right party, they won. And they won I guess that was a governor? I think it was governor. They won governor in Thüringen. And they came second place in Sachsen behind the middle-right party, the CDU party. So, in Schultz's party, the Social Democrat Party, or the Socialist Liberal Party, Socialist Democrat Party, something like that. I think it's the Socialist Democrat Party. Him and all the left-wing parties way behind. They are like in last place now, and it's not looking good for Germany's left-wing parties at all. But the problem, there is also a new movement that is also far left, and they're doing better. So the middle left is doing horrible. The far left is doing okay, and the right, middle right, and far right doing excellent in Germany right now. And he's not looking good for his next term. Let me just put it that way. But Germany's election is next year, so pay attention to that. There's a chance that Germany it's almost guaranteed that Germany's new leader will be a CDU member, and there's a chance it could even be an AfD member. So Germany might be going back to the far right. We don't know. But there's also a whole bunch of things I'll go into it, and if I ever make a video on this, I'll go into it. But like Thüringen, they're trying to even though the AfD party won, they're trying to prevent them from being in the government, which is very not a good look. They're trying to actually prevent the party that won from getting in power. Not a good look for Germany already, because the parties, it takes a group, because Germany has more than one party, or more than two parties, they have to take several parties to form a group of parties that will lead the government. So Germany's AfD party won the election, but the other parties don't want to work with them, so they're like, yo, okay, actually, we're gonna make the new government, and the AfD party, even though you won, well, because you can't work, because we don't want you working with us, so you technically lose. Not a good look, because they literally won, and they're being excluded and they're being kicked out of the government before they even get into it, basically. Not a good look at all. That's a thing, and I'm sure the AfD party is gonna be up in arms. If that's the government, if they form a government without the AfD party, even though they won, it's probably gonna be some big tension, political tension over in Germany. So we'll have to see what happens. But Germany's shifting heavily politically. Let me just put it that way. But anyways, guys, so that's gonna be your whole update on the Russo-Ukrainian war. That's your map update and your political update. With that, guys, I'm going to see you guys next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment, and share with your friends. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.